So why is an embodied approach to healing trauma appropriate rather than talking therapies, for instance? Why is a bottom-up approach, you may have heard of this concept, a bottom-up approach to healing rather than a top-down approach? It's because trauma occurs within the body, or rather the trauma we experience after traumatic events is a physiological reaction to those events that occurs over and over again. And the question is whether we respond in the present to situations which remind us of old traumas, or whether we react to those trauma triggers and our body reacts in exactly the same way as it did when we were originally traumatized. So for instance, if we were chased down by a car back in the day, or if we had a car accident and we went into contraction, our body obviously braced itself to manage the impact, and all sorts of terrible things may have happened. And now, many, many years later, decades later even, each time we get in a car as a passenger, for instance, if we were a passenger then, we brace ourselves. Postures assume reminiscent of the original postures that we took on when we had the original trauma. And even below cognition, our body is reacting to getting into the car and being a passenger now to brace itself for a repetition of the original trauma. And talking about this, if we went to talking therapies, for instance, had counselling or psychotherapy, it has its place, of course. We can retell our story, we can make sense of it to a point. However, we can end up re-traumatizing ourselves by talking therapies. We could talk about the event over and over again. And in a way, we strengthen the relating to that original trauma. We strengthen the neural pathways to the memory of the trauma. We can also bypass healing our traumas through talking therapies, in talking over and over again about the event and not actually dealing with the physiological process that's occurring within us. And therefore we can end up inadvertently bypassing our healing process. So the bottom-up approach is where we deal with the trauma directly through the body. And the aim is to change those neural pathways to the original trauma, to weaken those neural pathways, and to strengthen new neural pathways of relating to the original trauma in the here and now, by responding in the here and now differently to reacting to the original traumas and getting triggered over and over again. So there's a big difference there.